Okay, welcome back to my kitchen. We're making Einkorn sandwich loaf today, and we're just hanging out in the kitchen, and we'll see how well I do. I did make this before. I have a note on it. It says it's very good, so I'm gonna try it one more time. Okay, we need 1/2 cup of water and 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. It says in a small pan, heat the water and butter together just until the butter's melted. Oh boy, the microwave did that for me. Pouring that in my pan. And then it says add the yeast and whisk to incorporate. Grab my whisk. And it said 2 1/4 teaspoons. 1, 2 1/4. Whisk to incorporate. I'm supposed to put the milk in here too, and that is 1/2 cup. It says add the sugar, salt, egg, and 2 1/2 cups of flour mixed to form a slightly sticky dough. So does this not rise? Add sugar. So it's calling for a tablespoon of sugar. Normally I use honey, but yeah, sugar, salt, and egg. I warmed up my egg because it was refrigerator cold. And I don't like to put cold eggs in. Okay, salt. I'm not so sure about that because, doesn't salt break down yeast? Calls for a teaspoon of salt. Here's my egg. Salt. Just 1/2 cup, so that's 2 1/2 cups of flour, right? 2 1/2 cups of flour. I'm not pressing my flour into here, I'm letting it fluff a little bit. Okay, and then it says, what's remaining? Mix to form a slightly sticky dough. Okay. It says to put the remaining 1/2 cup of flour onto my dough surface. I'm not going to put it all there, I'm just going to put some because I'm impatient. I'll turn it up. I'm turning it off and scraping down the sides. Not really scraping, just zhuzhing the flour that didn't get wet yet. There we go, it's incorporating better. It doesn't say how long to do this. It just says add sugar, salt, egg, and 2 1/2 cups of the flour mixed to form a slightly sticky dough. Slightly sticky. That's really sticky looking. That just means Mama's going to take off her rings. Not getting dough on these things, that's for sure. I'll never get it out. So you'll see me naked. I mean, with no rings on, that is. It'd be kind of scary otherwise. All right, I am naked, ringless. And my hands are clean. And it says to put the sticky dough on the kneading surface. It works well if it's spread into a circle just larger than the ball of dough. Turn the dough onto the floured surface and knead until flour is incorporated and dough is smooth and elastic. Ha. All right then. Here we go. I don't know if I should wet my hands to keep it from sticking to me or just go for it, but I know it's going to end up everywhere. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. In the meantime, ooh, that's sticky. Well, you just go for it. You're here for me, I'm here for you. Here we go. Till dough is smooth and elastic. It's good as long as it doesn't touch me without the flour on it. Turning off the sink. It's already soaking up all this flour laying around here. I don't know if any of you know this, but I used to work for Pizza Hut way back in the day when, well, they still, I do believe, make their own crust if they're still around. But we had a guy come in early and he did all the dough and got it in the proofer. Sometimes I would come in early and help, but he really didn't need help. That guy was like 5 foot nothing, and he'd be in these big bowls, in the big mixer bowls. He could probably take a bath in. He was that tiny. But he'd lift all that dough out by himself. Dough is heavy, heavy when you're working with those big mixers. But I loved getting into the dough part of it. And we just used bags and you added water to it. Everything was easy. You know, it was kind of idiot proof. Not saying that gentleman was an idiot by any stretch of the imagination. I brought more flour in. One thing I don't like is my hand getting stuck to dough. I mean, I find that kneading dough is very therapeutic, but I don't like being sticky at all. This is einkorn flour. Einkorn is an ancient grain. It's never been bastardized. It's not a bad word when used like that. It's not been highly processed like the all-purpose flour that we get in the store. It was around for eons. Now, I can't tell you if Jesus himself ate it, but I can tell you it was like the grain that he had back in his time. So I do try and be healthy as much as possible about what I put into this body. And I know it looks like I put a lot into this body, because I certainly do. But I have other issues too. Oh, my oven's ready. That's good. It'll heat up the kitchen for this to rise. All right. Smooth and elastic. Not smooth, but I'm not adding any more flour to it. Form into a loaf and put it in a greased loaf pan. Well, that's kind of loafy to me. So I'll put it here in my greased loaf pan. It is sticky. I know it's not smooth and elastic, but I don't really care. I just want to get it in here so that it can rise. I'm going to put this over by my oven where it's nice and warm, and it's supposed to double in size but rise for 50 minutes. But in the meantime, I'm going to clean up and get these doughy fingers nice and clean, reset my kitchen, and then we'll be back for the next step. Cleanup is kind of a headache, so I'll show you what I do. Some people take it over to their sinks, and I have a double sink, but it's not like a huge double sink. So then, you know, getting it in there will result in a wet floor later. So this is how I do it. I get off all the little bits, throw them in the can, and then I have soap on this. I just go through and I make sure it's nice and it's wet enough. Because I can see bits of sticky stuff in there. And if you have one of these mats or you're thinking about getting one, you can get it on Amazon. Do not use any sharp knives on it. Don't cut anything on it. Ask me how I know. Because you will cut it, and you don't want to. You want to keep this for as long as possible. And then I just take another, this is a towel with regular water, and I run it over it just to get whatever soap might have been on it. And there's my clean mat. Wet, but clean. Now I'll just grab another one to dry it off. And that's how I clean my mat. It's a wonderful thing. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Make sure those ends are dry and just roll this little booger up, and I throw it down in my bottom cabinet for next time. And now I can put this away. Okay, well, the bread has been rising for over an hour. It called for 50 minutes of a rise, but I took the cling film off and it kind of ripped the top off a little bit. Not the whole top, just pieces. So I wanted it to rise a little bit more, so I set it for about 15 more minutes. So it's been a little over an hour that the bread has been rising, and now it's time to bake it in a 400-degree oven for 22 to 25 minutes. And I will show you what the bread looks like before it goes in the oven. It's not quite up over the top like I like it, but you know, you can't have everything. So I'll see you back here once it comes out of the oven. Okay, we're back. The bread is done. I have no oven light. It's annoying. But, ooh, look at that goodness. That's gonna make some good, good cut bread. So I'm going to bring it over here on my cooling rack. And it says to cool it for 5 to 10 minutes. And then we'll turn it out of the pan. And I'll show you what it looks like then. Okay, we're back with the bread. We're going to turn it out of the pan now. It looks beautiful, and it smells beautiful. Can't wait to cut into it. Well, friend, that is our video for the day. We made ourselves a quick einkorn sandwich loaf. Well, thank you for coming along and watching me make bread today. I'm going to move on to making some cookies. Never stop learning, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.